Do you remember the year 1936? Neither do I, because I wasn't born, and if I was, I would be in my 80s right now. But what I do know from 1936 is Franklin D. Roosevelt was president, gas was only 10 cents a gallon, and this book was published. Welcome to Super Awesome Book Reviews. I'm going to be reviewing today's book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book is over 80 years old. It's almost a book for the century, and it's still relevant today, and I'm going to dive right into it. Check it out.
Yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Dennis. Thank you for checking out Super Awesome Book Reviews. Look, I just love to read about personal growth, personal development, business, marketing, so I want to review all the books that I've read, and hopefully it can help you make decisions on whether you want to check it out or not. This book is, any book that's been thriving for over 80 years is definitely worth a read, but I'm going to dive into my summary, what I love, what I didn't like, and let's just dive right in. So every book review I do, I try to start off with talking about the book itself, and as you know, I like hardbacks a lot better, hardcovers, where I feel like this one's a little bit flimsy, but then again, it's the edition that I got. I know there is a ton of different, like the front looks a lot different. When I was actually purchasing this book, there was a lot of different covers, so I'm sure there's a couple different editions. This is the special anniversary edition. I'm not sure what's included, extra, what's not, what's missing compared to the original, but I think it is the same concept. Speaking of which, there's four main parts, but before that actually, it's only in the 230s, about 250 again, so right around that sweet spot on not being too long of a book, but not being too short where it's not a lot of takeaways. In a nutshell, there's four parts. Part 1 is fundamental techniques in handling people. Part 2 is 6 ways to make people like you, which I thought was just a great title. Part 3 is how to win people to your way of thinking, and Part 4 is be a leader, how to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. So this book basically breaks it down into all the natural, like think about this, 1936 is when this book was published and it still applies to today. That is kind of what it comes down to, is it's not just like wizard stuff like persuasion tactics and being the most savvy and like getting inside of people's heads. This is just generally speaking of human behavior. How do humans respond to things? How do we react? What do we want? And he generalizes it, and I think that's what I think is pretty cool, because I'm actually kind of sliding right into what I loved about the book, which is just that. Like, this can be very, it can apply to a lot of different people's situations, different lives, and it applies to the generalists, right? Like us as a culture and human species, what do humans want? How do you interact with humans? How do you get them to like you? One of my big takeaways, I'll talk to hopefully right before the score. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't seen this, I'm going to score it out of 10, so wait for that and check that out. But one of my just biggest takeaways from this book is what I've applied to my life is I feel like I've always been the type of person to be very pressing, like trying to get everyone to see it my way, trying to prove everybody wrong, trying to get my opinion and voice heard, where this book kind of talks about the opposite, right? Like the opposite is to listen to other people. How do you get people to do what you want is to give them what they want, you know? I always like to include some of like the drawbacks or downfalls of the books, like what I didn't like, and honestly, the two that I can even just think about aren't even the book's fault. Number one is the edition that I bought. A dislike for me is that this book is very flimsy. It's very like, I guess I got like a cheap version or something because, I mean, I got it off Amazon, but it's like, I don't know, it doesn't feel, I should have gotten the hardcover. So shame on me for not buying the hardcover. And secondly is the language in this book. So like, you got to remember it's 1936. So the way that they talk, like the old English language, like, hey, chap and mate, like it's not exactly like that, and I couldn't even find a page where I could get a quick example, but you definitely feel like you're in the 1930s when you read this book. So it's not a big deal. You just have to kind of look up some of like the weird, like the old-fashioned words and stuff, but it's a very old English language type of book, but it's expected. It's in the 1936, you know. It wasn't slang, yo dog, what's up, back then like it is today. So lastly, who should read this? And then I'm going to give this a quick score. Who should read this? Honestly, everyone should, because it would make a lot of people more positive, and it would increase human interaction. Everyone's a bunch of, you know, in today's world, everyone's a bunch of a-holes to say the least, but this is going to be this is great for everybody, but specifically speaking, parents and managers, anybody in like a leadership role that you on a daily basis have to encourage people to take action or get them to do what you want or just make a project management happen. Like if you really want to motivate and influence people, this book is a must-read for you. So with that being said, I'm going to score this out of 10 off the top of my head on the spot. For everything in here, I'm going to give this book definitely a high rating of, let's go with a 9.7. This book is fully loaded. So there it is, 9.7, 80 plus years in print, going to be 100 years soon, almost going to be a century. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, the only book you need to lead you to success. So if you've read this book and you want to score it below, leave that in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you think if you've read this book. And actually, he has a digital age edition. So it kind of talks, it's the same exact title, but it says digital age. It's a blue book. I have it over there. That's going to be another book review, so make sure you check that out. Hit subscribe. That way you can get updated, notified. If you love these books, you love these book reviews as well, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, and I would really, really appreciate that. And if you do want to buy this book and check this book out, there will be a link to do so. It is an affiliate link, but that, again, it's not why I do that. I do this specifically to talk about and connect with people that love to read books about personal development. So if that's you, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you guys on the next book review. Thanks a lot.